Hey, you are watching Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm here to do another reading. Mixed up the decks again. It's interesting because I kind of got a stack of blue-greenish decks today. The last time I did that, it was like a stack of yellow decks. But yeah, just gonna kind of mix it up. It's like mostly oracle decks this time. And like I think the last reading I did was for the full moon. But I think this time I'm going to focus on kind of just sort of this transitional holiday moment that's just kind of like wrapping up 2022 and sort of just like a gateway into the next year, and see if I can get like it's kind of like I think at the end of the year, a moment to sort of take stock on like, you know, what we've accomplished this year and like how we might restructure, reorganize things so that we can get like a little bit further along for next year, you know? And so I think this is sort of like the beginning of that process, and just sort of like looking at the year in totality, but also just giving an overview of this just holiday season. So this is interesting. So when I did the split, I got healing from the past. It says, I step into my future with strength and clarity. And it's really interesting because it almost looks like there's a Christmas tree on this card, which is pretty bizarre because this is totally not a Christmassy deck at all. And then I got flying free. I unfurl my wings and fly. So this is really, really interesting, especially in the context of the reading, the last reading I just did for like the full moon. And it was kind of like talking about, you know, this recurring pattern and sort of like healing from that. And it was almost like this like codependent sort of situationship, and sort of like learning the lesson from that so that you can like re-engage into a new era, like connecting with a different sort of pattern of relationship, and that being sort of the beginning of this whole new like fresh start. So it's really interesting that we get this like healing from the past, because it's like bringing into awareness this sort of pattern that's not been effective, and then kind of cutting the cord on that so that you can fly free into your new future on the wings of this bird. You know, birds are like a total theme for me, because like I feel like I get messages from birds because my dad was a pilot and he's like in the spirit realm now. And so yeah, that's really, really, really interesting. And I feel like it really, really, really goes along with the reading that I did for the year. Like when you go back and look at it, so I'll link the annual 2022 reading up here. But yeah, so it's almost like this whole holiday season is almost going to be like a test of your resolve, you know, because it's like we all, you know, have all the holiday stuff with our families to sort of navigate. And it's almost like if you're healing from some sort of pattern with people that, you know, you have all this history with, you know, then navigating the holidays is going to be a test of like how you sort of manage that, you know? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got Taming the Wind, and we got the Crow. And this is really interesting because there's so much here. So Taming the Wind is kind of like a card of like, it's almost like, you know, you're co-creating with the universe, and the wind signifies change in general. And so it's just sort of like you're navigating through this change and like co-creating with the universe at the same time, But what's interesting, so I was talking about that reading, the last reading from the full moon, and there was a spiral that was in that reading, and it kind of signified this sort of recurring pattern that was being healed. And it's interesting because the spiral, I've never noticed it before, but it's totally in this card too, the spiral. So it's just sort of like, I mean, that's part of the change, is like bringing into like awareness this pattern, and then like co-creating with the universe to create like a different path. It's just like you're manifesting change, you know. And what's also interesting is that the other card at the bottom of the deck is the Crow, which also was super significant in the full moon reading. This full moon reading and this reading are like, whoa. But this spiral also happens to be in the Crow. So it's weird that both of these cards that have the spiral right in the center fell out. And the Crow is all about like this truth surfacing and just causing this sort of shakeup of the sort of status quo. And like the last two readings that I've done have been all about this truth surfacing and causing this total shakeup. So there was the full moon reading, and then there was the one before that, which I'll link up here too. So it's just like, wow, like this truth is going to trigger this massive like healing of some sort of like almost generational pattern that's going to like get totally turned on its head and cause this like completely different experience, like moving forward into the future. Whoa, okay, so then when I get the light seers, like I just pulled it out of the bottom, we get Justice at the bottom, and we get the Magician. So it's like we're manifesting justice with whatever the situation is. Like we're healing from this situation. And it's like that healing has sent these ripples into the universe, and justice is happening. When I pulled down the Justice card, we get the Nine of Cups, we get the King of Swords, we get the Four of Cups, we get Temperance, and we get the Seven of Wands. So what I'm kind of getting from this is like someone's getting their wishes that are like coming through true. They're coming forward with this justice that's being revealed, but it's almost like, so the King of Swords is like a card of sort of really having to like put down this harsh truth, you know, like bringing to light this like injustice, and like cutting the cord on it, you know, because it's like been holding someone back. It's like they've had this opportunity, but like whatever this injustice was, it's like, it's almost like it's been blocking them from engaging it. It's like bringing things into balance, but like, it's almost like this person's light has been blocked. So what they're learning is they're having to have like healthy boundaries around their energy, and like not allowing people who have bad intentions for them to sort of block that, you know. So that's like their part of this healing, like is learning to manage that, to like draw boundaries around their energy and not allow themselves to be sort of taken for granted. And that's kind of like, in doing that, it's sending these ripples, you know. And when I pulled down the Magician, we got the Eight of Pentacles, we got the King of Wands, we got the Page of Pentacles, we got the Devil. So this is so interesting. First of all, what's really struck me about this is that this is the blue-green color that was sort of the theme of this reading, and it's like really prominent in this reading. But in this deck, it's like this Devil, it's almost like, so, you know, they've got all these strings tied to them, and it's just like it's like they're being sucked into this tide pool, like the Devil. And it's like, the devil's influence is almost like waning, because it's like they're being sucked into this tide pool. It's like they're overcome with emotion. You know, there's like all this water. They're overcome with all this emotion, and they're just being like sucked down into this whirlpool, this vortex, you know. So it's just sort of like, what I'm getting is this person has done all this healing. They've kind of cut the cords on their energy that's being like maybe hijacked by someone with like ulterior motives, and it's like freeing up their power so that they can manifest, you know, their dream. And what I'm getting is, so we have this powerful, influential King of Wands, super powerful. He's got this lion behind him and this torch, you know, and it's like, this just speaks to like an opportunity, like a golden opportunity, like the beginning of a golden opportunity. So I'm getting that like someone's like almost like manifesting this. It's almost like this work opportunity that's like, basically this opportunity is just sort of like almost like liberating them from whatever this toxic situation is. You know, it's like they're getting this opportunity that's allowing them to be free from whatever it is. So it's like almost like there might have been some like financial constraints that have held this person in this toxic situation, and that's why they've been, you know, it's been difficult to like disentangle themselves from it. But the ripples are manifesting as this work opportunity, and that's like bringing in justice. So it's like, wow, that's really, really interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to the crystal spirits, then I'm going to end with the Starseed Oracle. But really, 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 really interesting. Okay. So at the bottom of the deck, and like, I don't know, this really resonated like as soon as I pulled it out. So I'm going to go with this Numite, number 38. So let's see what it says. Okay. Wow. Okay, so Numite, it says, the essential meaning is achieving self-mastery, inner power, recovering your sense of self. So it's just, it's kind of like coming into your own power, reclaiming your energy, you know. And in the realm of relationships, it's like building trust and intimacy as a process. Practice leads to results. Repetition develops skills. So it's like, it's going to be a process to change this pattern. However, you know, like keep working at it. It's just like baby steps leads to results that are like sustainable. So it's like Rome wasn't built in a day, you know, but we're like building the foundation for this growth and this like consciousness of abundance by taking these steps and just like going forward. Like it doesn't all have to, you don't have to put all the eggs on the first step. Like it's gonna be a process, but like we're headed in the right direction, you know. So that's a really interesting message. And then I'm going to go to the Starseed Oracle. Pick a final message. This is really an interesting one for sure. But it does kind of like speak to this sense of, you know, like you don't have to figure everything out yourself, you know, just start taking steps. And like that's it's not necessarily the step itself that's gonna bring the change, but like the ripples, because it's like this, you know, there's ripples in this pond, and and like the ripples are just as impactful as the like actual step itself. So, you know, it's just take the step and like just build on it, you know, keep going. Okay, wow. So we are the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. Wow. There was a reading like not that long ago, and there was like 2 gateways in the end. So I'm gonna have to link to that reading here, but we have these stars, this portal, and like this really speaks to this, you know, kind of like taking control of this pattern, like cutting the cord on it. It's sort of like a doorway into this new journey that we're going into, like for next year. Like it's not gonna all happen overnight, but like that's not the point. Like the point is to just like move through the doorway, because it's ultimately gonna lead somewhere like really profound over time, you know. But it's really important to like take that fork and like go down this new path, you know. And it's really important to recognize that now. We got the courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, let yourself be seen. Wow. So this really speaks to, you know, celebrating your own uniqueness and being who you are. Like sometimes what stops people from being free is, you know, there might be people around them who like don't appreciate their uniqueness, or like make fun of it, or like might even be jealous of it, you know. And this is part of reclaiming that, you know. It's just like be who you are and be proud of that, because it's going to be important on the other side of this doorway that we're walking to. So there's a call from the universe, like, you know, be yourself and be proud. And yeah, it's a really interesting message. It's really this beautiful unfolding that's happening at the end of this year. So anyways, I'll keep the messages coming. Check in soon with more.